Hello everyone, it's been quite a while. I want to share a quick update before I get into the Battlefield stuff. So, updates. My RX 480 has decided to die finally. It came at the worst time possible, with all the shortages going on and stuff of that nature. That means I'm in a pretty rough spot, not just for gaming, but also continuing to do recordings for this channel. I am in the process of receiving help, but I'm not sure how much help I will be able to receive given the shortage. I was able to trade around a few parts for other parts, but it's at best it's only given me a different PC to record with, and that's really as far as I've been able to get. So there has been a change in where I record as well as the update for that recording PC I'm using. Hopefully it's not going to affect the quality. I'm pretty sure that it will remain at a similar quality level as before, but we shall see. Okay, moving on. So, Battlefield 2042 is coming in October, apparently. We'll see if it gets pushed back, but for now I just want to talk about some things related to it. Namely, the pre-order, because it's got my little sensors tingling, if you will. When it comes to greed, it's really easy to spot because it's a constant pattern with video games. It will usually be a microtransaction or something else, and this is no exception. So let's go ahead and go through that real quickly. Let's see. Is it this picture? No, it's the other one. Okay. Okay, I know that the picture is going to be a little bit hard to see, but this lists all the pre-order editions. There's going to be a standard gold and then their equivalent of the ultimate edition. Now, what's really interesting and what also has my sensors tingling is the gold edition. That's when you get guaranteed invite to the beta as well as 1 week early play with a full release of the game. You also get some microtransactions such as skins and stuff, which are listed there as well. The Ultimate Edition gets even more skins associated with it, but both have the Year 1 pass in addition to the previously mentioned benefits of the beta as well as early full play. This has greed written all over it, and I do have some concerns for that from different perspectives. Let me go and start with the player side of things. There have been numerous games where they have offered early access to the beta as well as early play for ordering a higher edition of their game. I have an issue with it because it puts players at an advantage. The players who are able to invest that kind of money will be at an advantage because they'll have more time to play and thus have higher levels than the people who only could afford, say, the standard edition. I don't like it when you give people an advantage under any circumstance for any game, whether it be through microtransactions or pre-orders. If the pre-order included early access with all editions, then I would be okay with that. But when it's just that Gold Edition and Ultimate Edition, then I have an obvious problem with that. I think another thing, too, that could be done is maybe follow the example of past games, and I'll get into one in a minute, but, you could make it so the invite is like a separate thing. Again, I'll explain in a little bit, but, yeah, you could do something like that. But, yeah, in its current status, I don't like it. Not just from a player perspective. It just puts things at an unfair advantage, I think. Now, to talk about it from a marketing perspective, this is where I feel things are going a little bit more screwy than the player side. It's because, Battlefield is a very, very old series or title. there are obviously going to be players who, I guess you could say, have been long awaiting the return of their favorite title. That means that there's going to be very high expectations for the game. Expectations that could either be met or they could fall short of. If you're going to make it so that your marketing team is trying to advertise these players to buy the Gold Edition or the Ultimate Edition, then you are setting up yourself for a potential disaster. Because let's just say that, this game doesn't live up to the expectations of, all these old players. Well, they're obviously going to hate you for it, regardless. But they're going to have more reasons to hate you if they go and spend $100 and then don't get what they want out of it. Because you know good and well that they're not going to do a refund on pre-orders. That's actually one of the things I really hate about digital pre-orders, is that you have to spend the full value to do a pre-order. It's not like GameStop where you could just put $5 down and call it a day. No, you have to pay the full thing. Actually, that's another thing we'll get into in a moment, but let me just stick with the marketing thing for a moment. So yeah, you're going to add essentially more reasons to fail when you're going for a marketing pitch that involves selling a $100 pre-order. Not just with your game, but also with the different platforms, because the platforms are going to have to deal with that nightmare too, in addition to the company that made the game. So yes, there is that as well. More things that I want to say about the marketing side is that this just screams greed to me. That's why I was saying my sensors are going off, because it's pretty clear that they understand that this is a title that's been around for years and that they're looking to just milk the money from these players who have been with this game for that long, which is pretty evident by the Gold Edition and all this other stuff going on. So, yeah, it's not looking good so far from a marketing perspective as well as a player standpoint. Now I want to kind of deviate a little bit to share some examples and go into details about what I was just discussing. I think the best example that I can come up with right off the bat would be Dreadnought. It's I guess you can say, arena-based ship versus ship game that came out some years ago. With Dreadnought, as I understood it back then, they were needing money to continue their development. Without that money, they would have had to completely cancel the game altogether. At least that's what I read anyways. Whether or not that's true is a completely different matter. However, the way they handled it was perfectly fine. Because they said, hey, if you're willing to buy an edition that's $10 or even $20, because they had two editions, one was $10, one was $20, we'll give you access to the beta, and we'll give you a key so you can invite your friend to the beta. That, to me, I thought was a really great way of handling it, because one, they weren't asking for a lot of money, and two, they made it so that the beta was a group thing, family thing, or however you wish to word it. That, to me, was a perfectly good way of handling it, because at that point now you're saying, well, hey, your money is also ensuring that you get to spend your time in our beta with somebody that you love to play games with. Games are a very community thing, very much a community thing, or even a family thing. There are people out there who game with their families, and I think it was a really cool marketing approach to say, hey, as a thanks for supporting us, we will acknowledge that you play with friends or family. So 100% for that. Like, I think they did everything fine. And maybe more people can follow their example. That brings me to the discussion of GameStop. GameStop has always been my recommendation for people who have access to a GameStop store, because one of the great things about it is that you can pre-order something for $5 and then see where things go, and if you don't like it, then you can take your $5 and move it somewhere else. That, to me, should be the golden standard for marketing on every digital platform, because then you can play the beta, see if you like it, and then if not, you can move the money somewhere else. That's always been my recommendation to people, so that whenever there's a game coming out that's either questionable or I'm not sure that it's going to be good, then I just let people know, hey, just put the $5 down here and figure it out for yourself. I really wish more, companies, not just the digital platforms, but also the physical retailers, did that, because then it's a better way of spending the money. It's what I've always done, and it's why I always recommend it. I'll probably be doing the same for Battlefield 2042. I'll go out to the GameStop and I'll put down $5 and get the beta that way and formulate my own thoughts. Though I will have to see if there's like some sort of NDA, because if there is an NDA, I won't be able to record it. But if there isn't, then I will for sure record that, assuming that I can get the computer situation fixed. So, yeah, that's kind of like what do I have to really say on all this. In short, I really wish that more companies handle pre-orders better, whether it be digital or physical. I am hoping that I'm wrong about this whole greed thing, and that they aren't looking to make money out of this other than the $60 or $100 for whichever edition people purchase. But so far it is looking like greed, and only time will tell if I'm wrong. I gave some examples to kind of show you where I was going with all that, and I can only hope that I've explained it all well. So that's kind of the summary. Yeah, that's really all I can say. Thanks for listening.